There's a method for turning salt water into drinking water that requires no electricity, no filters, no membranes, and no moving parts. By the end of this video, you're going to know two things that most people with running water have never had a reason to learn. First, how to turn biologically contaminated water, river water, flood water, well water, into safe drinking water using a $25 clay pot. No electricity, no filters, no chemicals. The same method the WHO endorses right now for 2 billion people who don't have what you have coming out of your tap. Second, how to actually distill salt water into drinking water with materials from a hardware store. And exactly why the people charging thousands of dollars for that service aren't worried about you learning this. Stay to the end because there's a limitation to both of these that almost nobody talks about honestly, and if you skip it, you'll build the wrong thing for the wrong problem. That part could actually matter one day. Let's start with something that's going to sound too simple. Salt water cannot evaporate as salt water. When water molecules transition from liquid to vapor, the dissolved solids stay behind. The salt, the bacteria, the minerals, the heavy metals. They cannot make that jump with the water molecule. Only pure H2O crosses into vapor. That's the whole trick. That's what a multi-billion-dollar desalination plant is doing. That's what a $100 water filter is doing. That's what your clay pot is going to do. The question has never been, does this work? The question is always, how fast and at what cost? Here's the part that should genuinely stop you for a second. 97% of all water on Earth is salt water. Every glass of fresh water you've ever drunk in your entire life came from the 3%. The solar still you're going to build is doing in miniature what the sun has been doing to the ocean for 4 billion years. Evaporating water, leaving the salt behind, dropping it somewhere else as rain. You're just catching that process before it leaves your backyard. Now here's where clay comes in. And this is the part that's genuinely interesting. Unglazed clay is microporous. The pores in fired, unglazed ceramic are big enough for water molecules to pass through, but too small for bacteria, protozoa, and most larger contaminants to follow. When water drips through an unglazed ceramic wall, what comes out on the other side is physically cleaner than what went in. The contamination gets mechanically trapped inside the ceramic matrix. And here's something wild that almost nobody connects. When you sweat, your body is running its own version of this exact same system. Sweat is mostly fresh water. Your skin selectively passes water vapor through while holding most of the salt back. The unglazed clay pot works on the identical selective membrane principle as your own skin. Ancient humans didn't know the chemistry. They just noticed the clay kept the water cool and clean, and they kept using it for thousands of years. This is not folk medicine. Published research in peer-reviewed journals shows ceramic pot filters removing between 97 and 100% of E. coli from test water. The World Health Organization endorses ceramic pot filters as an appropriate point-of-use water treatment technology. Organizations like Potters for Peace have spent decades systematically testing and improving these filters, deploying them in dozens of countries, and publishing their results. The Ugandan Ministry of Water and Environment has independently verified 99.9% pathogen removal from specific ceramic filter designs. This technology is ancient, globally documented, independently verified, and costs $25. The Brita filter market is worth over $1 billion a year. Here's what civilizations figured out thousands of years ago that we quietly forgot about. Egyptian water storage in clay vessels. Documented going back millennia. Not just for cooling, for keeping the water from making people sick. The Indian clay pot, the Matka, has continuous documented use, stretching across thousands of years and is still commercially manufactured today. Ancient Romans used unglazed amphorae for water storage, relying on the same ceramic permeability. Indigenous cultures across the American Southwest, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Central Asia arrived at this independently, without contact with each other. That's not coincidence, that's physics. This didn't disappear because something better replaced it for small-scale household use. It disappeared from your awareness because municipal water systems and bottled water made it invisible in wealthy countries. For the roughly 2 billion people globally who still don't have reliable, safe drinking water, this is not historical trivia. It is active, living technology being used right now. Now let's talk about what you actually build and what it actually costs. Here's the most important thing in this video, and I want you to really hear it. A standard ceramic pot filter cannot remove salt. It removes bacteria, protozoa, and sediment, biological and physical contamination. If your water is salty or chemically contaminated, the ceramic filter is the wrong tool. Keep that in your head because we're going to cover salt water separately. For biologically contaminated freshwater, river, flood, well water, here's your setup. You need a ceramic filter element, also called a ceramic candle filter. These are available online. A basic dome filter element runs around $14 to $20. You also need 2 food-safe 5-gallon buckets, around $5 to $7 each at any hardware store. Total setup, $25 to $35. Here's how it goes together. Drill a hole in the bottom of the upper bucket, sized to fit your ceramic filter element snugly. Fit the ceramic element in, stack the upper bucket on top of the lower bucket. Pour your contaminated water into the upper bucket. It drips through the ceramic element by gravity alone, and what collects in the lower bucket has had the biological contamination physically trapped in the ceramic. Add a spigot to the lower bucket, around $5, and you have a gravity-fed filtration system that requires 0 electricity and 0 replacement cartridges, indefinitely, as long as you maintain it. Maintenance is simple and non-negotiable. Every few weeks, scrub the outside of the ceramic element with a clean brush under clean water. What you're removing is the biofilm and particulate buildup that clogs the pores and kills your flow rate. Skip this and your filter slows to almost nothing. Do it and the ceramic element lasts for years. Flow rate is the honest limitation, roughly 1 to 3 liters per hour. This is not a tap. It is a slow, continuous process. For a family of 4, you run it continuously and manage your water accordingly. That's not a flaw. That's gravity doing the work instead of electricity. One significant upgrade: coat the interior of the ceramic element with colloidal silver solution before first use. Research published in Environmental Science and Technology showed that colloidal silver treatment pushes pathogen removal in ceramic filters to near 100% by deactivating bacteria that mechanical filtration alone might miss. Colloidal silver solution is available online for around $15 to $20, enough to treat a filter. Many commercial ceramic elements already include this treatment, so check when you buy. One more practical tip: pre-filter visibly murky water through folded cotton cloth before it enters the ceramic. This removes suspended sediment that would otherwise clog your ceramic pores and cut your flow rate in half. Total setup, $25 to $50. Functional lifespan, years. Now the saltwater problem. And this is where it gets genuinely interesting. The desalination industry is worth over $20 billion globally and is projected to nearly double by 2033. The reason is real. That 97% of Earth's water being salt water isn't an abstraction. It's a crisis that's getting worse. This is a genuine problem, and industrial desalination is a genuine solution at scale. What you can do at home is a solar still. And I'm going to be straight with you about what that actually means. A solar still uses sunlight to evaporate water from a saltwater source, condenses that vapor on a cooler surface, and collects the pure condensate. No salt crosses into vapor. What you collect is distilled water. It genuinely works. Here's something most people don't know. Commercial inflatable solar stills are standard emergency equipment on ocean lifeboats. The Kon-Tiki expedition in 1947, 6 men crossing the Pacific on a balsa wood raft, used the same condensation principle to supplement their freshwater supply. This isn't a quirky DIY trick. It's the backup plan the maritime industry quietly relies on. Here's the output in real-world testing, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Roughly half a liter to 1.5 liters per day per square meter of still surface area under good sun. Independent tests with bowl-sized setups produced about 1/3 of a cup from a full day of sunlight. That's survival scale production, not household scale. For context, a person needs about 2 liters a day to stay alive. A well-built ground solar still covering several square meters in bright sun can get you there. Barely, for one person. In a survival situation, that's the difference between life and death. For replacing your household water supply, you'd need a large array running continuously, or this as one piece of a larger water strategy. Here's what you actually build. Total cost, around $20 to $30. A large dark container for your saltwater source. Paint a plastic bin black on the outside to absorb. Maximum solar heat, around $7 to $10. Clear plastic sheeting, 4 to 6 mil thickness, around $10 to $15 for a roll. A small, clean collection vessel inside the container, and a rock. Set your dark container of salt water in direct sun. Place your collection vessel inside without tipping it. Stretch the clear plastic tightly over the entire setup, sealed at the edges. Place the rock in the center of the plastic directly above your collection vessel, creating a low point. Sunlight passes through the plastic, heats the interior, water evaporates from the saltwater source, condenses on the underside of the cooler plastic, and drips down into your collection vessel. The salt stays behind. A few things that actually matter for output. Paint everything inside the container black. Dark surfaces absorb heat and accelerate evaporation significantly. Preheat your source water in direct sun before sealing the still. Warmer, starting water evaporates faster. Make your still as large as practically possible, because output scales directly with surface area. and tilt your condensing surface at roughly 30 degrees instead of leaving it flat, research found this angle captures the most condensate before it re-evaporates. One thing almost no video mentions about the water you collect: you cannot drink purely distilled water for extended periods without consequences. Distillation removes everything, including the calcium and magnesium your body expects from water. Short term, you're fine. In a longer survival situation, eat food alongside it or add a single pinch of salt to what you've collected. The irony of desalination is that after removing everything, you sometimes have to put a little back. And one thing that needs to be completely clear: the solar still gives you drinkable water from the condensate, the drops collected in your cup inside. The source container is still full of salt water you cannot drink. You never drink from the source, only from what condensed. Important caveat on both setups: neither removes chemical contaminants that evaporate at similar temperatures to water, things like benzene and some industrial solvents. For seawater, river water, flood water, and biologically contaminated wells, both methods work as described. For water near industrial contamination sites, get it tested first. 2 setups, 2 different problems. Get them straight. Biologically contaminated fresh water, ceramic pot filter, $25 to $50, runs forever, WHO endorsed, independently verified. Salt water, solar still, $20 to $30, survival scale output, pure distilled water comes out the other end. Neither is fast, neither replaces municipal water at normal consumption rates. But both work on verified physics, both are buildable today, and both have been keeping humans alive for thousands of years before anyone thought to sell you a subscription to clean water. The desalination industry isn't selling you something you couldn't do yourself. They're selling you scale, the ability to supply a city of millions from one centralized plant. That's genuinely valuable. But the physics they're using, identical to what's happening under that plastic sheet in your backyard. A ceramic filter runs for years. No electricity, no cartridges, no subscription. The WHO endorses it. Potters for Peace has deployed it in dozens of countries. It costs $25. The bottled water industry is worth $350 billion a year. Now you know why nobody's advertising this on TV. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.